So, good evening, peeps. How are you all? So, long time no see. So I'm here today to do the first issue of the Eddie Stobart. Now, I am a little bit behind with the starting of the Eddie Stobart, so I do plan on doing a catch-up. Now, my original thought was that I was going to do 2 issues in one video every week until I get caught up. However, I've decided to do just a single issue this video, and the reason for that is that I can then talk a little bit more about the build, my thoughts, why I'm doing it, you know, what I think about any potential issues that I've seen crop up. That then obviously means if I do a single issue, I'm then going to be in an odd spot. So next week I will be doing issue 2, and then from there on in I will be doing 2 episodes a week until I catch up. But I will explain more about that as I go. So, I'm really keen to start this build, so let's get on with it.
I've pounded the road from coast to coast, Yorkie and me rolling on. 'Cause a long day's run can be short on fun without Yorkie to help me along.
So, this is the magazine, and what we'll do is, just as a one-off, we'll have a little look at the magazine. You know, I normally don't show off the magazine too much, because obviously if you want to look in the magazine, buy it yourself. But let's have a look at this. Now, I've been after this for absolutely ages. It's something to go with my Route Master, something in a similar scale. This is 1 to 12 scale, and it's going to look really, really good when it's finished. But as always, excuse the pun, but it's going to be a long road. So this is what I refer to as Gumph. Now, Gumph is bits of paperwork that you get with it. And this tells you all about what the build will be like when it's finished, and it's got some standard features like moving wheels and, you know, steering wheels. The tilting cab looks great. Working lights, yeah, most things have working lights, but I just like the little features, the details. It looks like the trailer will come off from the cab. They're the features that I'm looking for. Lights are really nice, but let's be honest, once you've built this and you've played with it for a week or 2, lights really aren't going to come into it too much. So it then goes on about what the magazine will consist of. So you won't just get the build, you'll get stories about the fleet, the story of Eddie Stobart, and get a taste of the trucker's life with stories of travel and trials on the roads and motorway of Britain. So that will be interesting for me, because I've done, and I'm hoping to get back into it, doing long distance coach work. Now obviously coach work and truck work is not the same, but there are many crossovers, so I'd like to see the comparisons between that and my job. So the whole thing is going to be over 1 metre long. So that's good. It tells you even the cab is quite big. Now don't go adding these 2 up to try and get your length and say it's too long, because don't forget the trailer overlaps with the truck. So as usual, die cast metal, plastic for fine details, steel screws, and that looks like, yeah, that's the actual picture of the model in real life. So is there a mod potentially there? You see, you've got some little bunting in the windscreen, and then this is the thing, what you get if you subscribe. I got the toolkit already. It's not actually a bad little toolkit, and I rang up recently I'm going to be speeding my subscription up so I catch up, and I'm told that one of my next deliveries I will get this model for free, so I'm looking forward to that. So to sum this up, I would say that this has a typical Hachette feel about it. If you've done any Hachette builds before, this will feel very familiar. So you have the parts listed there. I'm sorry about slight long distance. with the camera. I mean, I'll try and move anything up if there's anything important to see, but I just want to give you a general look. So as I say, this has a Hachette feel about it, although I would say this has an older Hachette feel about it. This is more similar to things like the Flying Scotsman than the you know, a Flying Scotsman feel about it, rather than a Routemaster feel, which I actually feel maybe they've tried to improve things with the Routemaster and gone, actually we've improved that too much. Let's go back to how things used to be. So the way things are labelled out, you see nice square boxes. So when I'm dealing with this stage, you know, there's no other stages interfering, so it's nice and easy. And then we've got the origins of the company, and then it goes through, and this is a really nice layout. This really is nice. This is about the actual, see, they're the things I like, the old adverts. So again, you know, I'm more into the pictures than anything else, and obviously on the back we have what's coming in issue 2 and the parts. So let's crack on. So I will confess, I normally jump straight into a build having never seen it before. Like all part works, I bought 2 issues of this, and I had a friend come round the other day, and most of you guys who make models, you've heard this 100 times before. Oh, I wouldn't have the patience to do what you do. So I gave her issue 1, and she sat down on my sofa and she made it. And guess what? She had the patience to do it. So obviously the negative side is that I've already seen this built, and I will confess I have a few issues with it already, which I'm going to try and fix either in this video or the next video. The first issue being this push fit connection there. Do you see this handle? It really is not in there very well. Now, by the nature of a handle, I assume we're going to be pulling that. Do you see, look, that just came out. So if this is attached to the front, I presume we're going to be pulling this down. So how many times is that handle going to come out? And these DAF signs, they've done a very good job, but they do look plastic to me. They have a look of plastic. So what I'm going to do in a future video, I'm going to be cracking into my my acrylic metal colours from Vallejo, and I'm going to be repainting those. But today I'm going to make the build as normal, and I'm going to be gluing all of the push fits in just to make them a little bit more sturdy. And then what we'll do is on a future video we will look at just tartan this up a little bit. So my apologies, I have already seen it before, so you know, I'm kind of semi-cheating. As usual, I say as usual, we have received a screwdriver. I haven't used this screwdriver, but I've seen the screwdriver in action, and my friend who has never built a part work before says it's actually a good screwdriver. Now I am still using, I mean, I use my own screwdriver, but I still have a variety of, I think this is the original Routemaster screwdriver, and I still jump into the drawer and I grab this occasionally. So my experience of Hachette or part work screwdrivers is, although they're not the best screwdrivers, they are useful. So the parts that we've got is the bonnet, which this is a really nice, you know, you've got a piece, it's nice die cast. The paintwork and decals look satisfactory. I'm very happy with that. Next we have this horrible handle, which is here. We have got, now we've got this twice. We've got the DAF symbols, DAF, and then we've got them again. At this particular stage, I don't know which ones is parts 3, 4 and 5 and which is 7, 8, 9. However, it does tell us and it says stop. So I will obey that and I will stop. Assembly tip: 3 of the letters DAF have a 1 in the circle, 1 inner circle on the back. These are parts 7, 8 and 9 which fit to the grill. So although I started to read there, obviously once I reach here I know which parts are which. So guys, don't just read and then do. Read a little bit forward. I've said this many times on my builds. Just have a little forward look. You know, when you do stage 1, have a little look at stage 2 before you begin stage 1. That's what we're doing there. So now I can see that. Oh, that doesn't help, does it? I'm trying to turn one part around and all the others jump up. So, and I think one has jumped completely off and gone. Here we go. Right. So that's my D. That's my A. So I can see that these parts here. Oops. I'm not having a good time here, am I? Right. So these are the ones with the circles in them. So if I've maybe just got a Sharpie to hand or something. Right. So 7, 8, 9. So what I'm going to do, you can use your own method, mark them with a Sharpie pen or something. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape over 7, 8, 9. Excuse me. So they're going to stay put. So I'm going to assume I'm going to use these parts first because they're lower number. So we just keep those safe. So next we have this grill, and that's grill with an E. Now this is plastic, but I would actually say that will do. That's not actually a bad part. I've said before, plastic, when it doesn't need to be strong, plastic has a tendency to hold better detail. So don't do metal for the sake of metal. And then we also have these parts here, and I don't really want to touch them because they're reflectors and lenses for the side lights. Now these tend to be jumping around everywhere, so I just want to keep those in there, but I'll show you those in more detail as we progress. And last but not least, we have some screws, and these this time round are called, well, they're called DP01 on the bag, as you can see, but in the magazine they're just called 7 1.2 by 3mm PB screws. So I would probably label those in my spares box as PB 1.2 by 3, and there should be one spare, so we should be looking at 6 of them. So I'm going to bore you no longer. Let's crack on with the build. And let's see if this is as much fun as I believe it is. So I'm going to have my magazine over to one side. Take the bonnet 101 and the handle 102. Fit the ends of the handle into the 2 holes at the centre top of the bonnet. The pegs are slightly angled. The handle should slope upwards. So you see there you've got a couple of pegs, and they just, the angle that they come out at, there we go, and that's just going to go in there. However, this is the first part where I think actually I'm not happy with that. So what I'm going to do, I've got some spare packaging here, and I've got my super glue. This is my super glue of choice. I'm not going to recommend any particular super glue. I use this one because I like it. You use the super glue that you like if you decide to do. Oh, this is a brand new bottle of super glue, and it's very difficult to squeeze out because obviously the sides, as you use the glue more and more, the side wall becomes slightly weaker, and now I'm struggling, but once I've used it a few times it'll all loosen up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the holes that it needs, which is going to be those 2 there. And I'm just going to get a cocktail stick. Now I do worry about squeeze out, so I'm going to apply the glue from behind so that any squeeze out will have a tendency to push into the model rather than out of the model. So and I've applied as little as I can get away with. If there turns out there's not enough glue on there, I can do it again and try again, but if it's too much, I've made a big mess. So you see that's gone in, and there's a tiny bit of squeeze out there, but can you see it's come onto the inside of the model? So, oh, look at that. And I just glued my finger to the inside. So a little bit of a tip for you. Don't know if you noticed what I did there. And I believe I got this tip from P40F20. The way that super glue holds, I mean it's not going to stick now because it's dried, but if you try to pull your finger up, it won't come. So I don't know if you noticed what I did. I twisted my finger sideways and it released my finger, no problems. So you can see that I did actually make a mess there, but that really doesn't matter because that's the inside of the bonnet. So testing it, you can see that handle is not strong because the glue hasn't set yet. Okay, but that's absolutely fine. Right, so, but also we need to just let that glue set for a bit. There you go, that's sticking. So I'll leave that 24 hours and that'll be strong as anything. Right, so that's step 1 done. So stage 2, the letters D, A and F are fitted in place on the bonnet. Pegs on the back of the letters fit into the holes in the bonnet circled in white. These are push fit connection. Now that's good news for me because I do want to repaint this. So let's going back to the stop bit. We can see that 1, 2 and 3 are the ones that don't have the circle on. So these are going to be nice and simple. Now I don't know whether these would need gluing because these aren't something that you would come into contact with, but they actually fit rather nicely. So I'm going to push that in just like that, then I'll do the other 2. Now I'm not going to glue these in anyway, whether it needs to or not, but I want to just pull these off later on because I want to repaint these so that they look a little bit more metal, and to do that I'm going to need to repaint with a metallic paint. But when you paint with a metallic paint, you really want to put a gloss primer on. So by the time I've painted those black and then silver, obviously I risk the risk over painting onto the bodywork, so I really need to pull those off before I paint them. So but that's that. So already it's starting to come to life. So the next step then is step 4, because step 3 is just telling you this is what it looks like. So the next step is to take the grill, and it's a bit awkward because I have a grey board, and this is white, so it's not so easy to see. And then I just need to get the other 3 daft symbols, and this is quite handy because I'm using masking tape. It means I can pull the parts out easily, so I've inadvertently done a good thing there. So we'll stick that down so it doesn't run off. Now step 5 tells us that we need to identify the 3 fixing points, and we need to push them into the back. Now that one's going in like that, but it doesn't want to go in. Maybe, Penny, if you put the hole in the right place, it will go in. Oh, do you know what? This is a little bit more tricky. So that one's gone in fine. Now it says if you find that the holes in the grill are too small for the pegs on the letters, use a fine round file to enlarge the holes very slightly. So that's good. So that's gone in, and I'm happy that that's a push fit connection. I'm just going to double check because I thought, oh, you can't actually see any screws. So that's fine, because that means when I come to repaint them I can remove them quite easily. So we'll put the A in next, and that's gone in fine. And I'm finding the easiest way to put this in is to find, you see there's 2 pegs on the back there. I know it's hard to see, Right, locate one peg roughly right, and then just swivel it on that peg until you find the second hole, and then try to push them in level. There you go, that's gone in absolutely fine, and that's actually quite nice. So we are getting to the end of the build now, so what we need to do now is take the grill, and you'll see here that on the grill we've got 4 locating pegs. That's going to line up with 4 holes in the bonnet there, and that should just suddenly bring this to life, which it does. Look at that. So obviously we're going to flip this over, but if we do so, that grill may well fall out. So now we need to get our screwdriver out, and I do love getting the screwdriver out, but we are expecting to screw, because we've got we have a screwdriver, we have screws. If we aren't using the screwdriver, something's wrong. So just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use this screwdriver. Normally I use my own, but holding the back, we've got a fixing point there, and there, and I'm just going to lightly pop one screw in, and I haven't put it in all the way, I just put it in just enough to hold. And excuse me one sec, I've got a heating on. I live in Scotland, so as you can imagine it's not tropical weather, so I've got the little heating on, and it's a little bit too close to my leg, so it was burning it. Right, so there's the second screw in, and it's just in loose, and the reason I put these screws in loose is so that it enables you to check that you've got the part in the right position. If any of these screws fail to go in, then at least I haven't once you screw the screws in tight, if it's in the wrong position, you run the risk of bending the part. It will kind of try to conform to the shape that you've put it in, and if it's not meant to go in that shape, it's going to conform to the wrong shape. So that, now the reason I'm not happy with that is because that's actually the wrong screw hole, so do accept my apologies there. Now, as you can probably imagine, this screwdriver is good, but it's not to my liking. What you tend to find, you find equipment that's okay, it does the job well, and this really does do the job well, but then you start to find things that work better for you. Right, this one's not going in. There we go, that's taken. Right, so that's the 4 screws in loosely. So I do apologise guys, I'm going to switch to my preferred screwdriver. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this screwdriver, apart from I've got used to using my screwdriver so much that this doesn't feel as comfortable as it could, and I do think comfort is important. So I'm going to finish these off, so I know they're all in properly. That's one in. Yeah, this is a lot easier. So that's 2 in. So now we bring the centre 2 screws in. It doesn't matter what order you do the screwdrivers in. My granddad always taught me, do the corners or do the outside, do the screws symmetrically. Now, whether or not he was talking expert advice there, I really don't know, but you know, it's what he taught me to do. So there we go, so we've now got the grill and the second DAF in place, and I think that's looking really nice. So all we've got left to do now is in these 2 holes there, whoops, too high up, we've got some lights and side light reflector, and we've got, yeah, right, okay, take the first side light reflector, which is, I'm going to use masking tape to pick this up because they are delicate parts. So this is a side light reflector, and I can see that it's got a little line on it, so it's gonna, we're obviously looking for a channel, and I can now see that the hole, it's very hard to see, but just at the bottom there's a little channel. So this is going to go in a certain way, and there we go. Just place that in and then just rotate it until it fits in, and then we push that in. That was very easy. Could not have been simpler. So it does say in stage 5 there is a bar on the side of the reflector, and then what we want to do then is we take another screw. Very simple this issue because all the screws we're using are the same, and then we're going to screw. If you remember when I did the last stage, I accidentally put the screw in the wrong hole. This is actually the hole that I accidentally put the screw in. There you go, that's screwed in. And then what we need to do now is take one of these tiny hard to see pieces, very easy to lose, and we just want to pop that into the top, and that will push in like so. There we go, and then we just repeat on the other side. So nice and simple. So yeah, I would say on the strength of this issue, oh, that one went in very easy. That was interesting. The last one was quite tight. Yeah, on the strength of this issue, I'm rather enjoying this build. The quality looks to be of a fairly good standard. There are rather a lot of issues, so there's lots of things that can go wrong, and I'm probably being negative by that statement. We all know from part works that we all end up with our favourite issues and our least favourite issues. In fact, I was looking in my box just before I started this video, and I saw the wheel, and if anybody watched my Route Master videos, you know my least favourite part is wheels. They're just boring, but you know they have to be done, so I accept that. Right, so there you go guys, I have finished that issue now. That is complete. This is what it looks like. So if my friend is watching this video, let's do a comparison, and I would say you did a very good job there. So for someone who says I haven't got the patience to do this, I think I've just proven wrong. This is my piece. This is my friend's piece who's never done part works before. I have done this slight improvement on the handle, and I am going to repaint those. I mean, to be honest with you, if you left those, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But no, I'm rather happy with that. So that is issue 1 complete. Let me switch to me. So yeah, I'm happy with that issue. I am quite confident that I have got a good build there. Just bear with me one sec. Life is better with coffee. So yeah, so next week I'm going to do issue 2. I will do a couple of little mods to that first of all, and then I will show you that. I won't show you what I'm doing, or you know, I'll just show you the result, and I'll keep my friend's part next to it so we can do a comparison. So my recommendation is to use a little bit of super glue just for that handle. As you see, you know, it's just improved it a little bit. I think that push fit connection, it's not really quite right, but I would glue it from behind, because as you can see, I got a little bit of squeeze out. I got quite, well, to be honest with you, the fingerprint on the inside hasn't helped, but obviously because it's on the inside, it's going to hide it, and we know there's something going over here because we can see some more screw holes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably something going over there anyway. So yeah guys, if you have completed this issue 1, give yourself a big pat on the back. You've achieved a very nice issue, and I will catch you next week. Before I go, I want to say a big thank you to a friend of mine, P40F20. Before I made this video, I did some little test videos. I've been setting up my desk cam, and I asked about 3 friends if they can just have a little look at a couple of videos, and there's one guy I know, he will just say yes, that's brilliant, and he's a little bit like me. he will say something's good if it's better than what he's producing. So, you know, he just went, yeah, that's brilliant. Another friend was a little bit critical of the sound, so as a result we've changed the music on a couple of videos, and P40 came back with an essay, which is exactly what I'm wanting. Quite often friends are worried about upsetting friends, so they won't say anything bad to them for fear of upsetting them. P40F20 is one of these brilliant guys who sort of has the attitude, right, you ask for a critique, I will give you a critique, even if it strips you down. And he did, and he told me some things that he liked about my videos and a few things that he disliked about the videos, and hopefully I'm implementing those changes. So as always, I'm always after feedback on the videos. Do you like this build? Do you like the way I'm presenting the build? Etc, etc. So that's it for issue 1 for me. It's gone on longer than I thought it would go on for, but you know me, I can talk for England and now Scotland as well. So I will catch you next week when I will be doing issue 2, and issue 2 is a door. Let me have a look at issue 1. So the driver's cab door, 2 rear view mirrors are fitted to the mirror bar, which is then fitted to the driver door, and it says the offside cab door plus the mirror. And then I can see issue 3, we've got the wheels. But isn't it better to get the issues that I won't enjoy so much over with sooner rather than later? So I'm going to pop this on the shelf, which, if given Harchette's track record, it'll probably stay on that shelf for the next 1.5 years before we actually need it. So take care guys, and I'll catch you next week.